Can I ask you something? Why is it Islam the only major world religion that I know that guarantees you'll go to hell?
What do you mean by that?
In chapter 19, verses 71 to 72, it says Allah has fixed a decree. Everyone goes down to hell and only the God-fearing come out. Why is that?
Is that talking about the bridge of Sirat?
No, there's no bridge Sirat in the Quran. That you're reading later Islamic tradition back into the text. The text says, there's not one of you who shall not enter into it, a decree fixed by your Lord, and only the God-fearing will come out, and he'll leave the evildoers hobbling in it. Here it is. Not one of you there is, but he shall go down to it. That for thy Lord is a thing decreed, determined. And then 72 shows only the God-fearing will come out. Why is it your book says you're guaranteed you're going to go to hell, but you're not guaranteed you're going to come out unless you're God-fearing enough?
I'm not sure.
Can you read 1971-72 for him in context so you can see I'm not misquoting?
Not one of you there is, but he shall go down to it. That for your Lord is a thing decreed, determined.
And then 72 says, you're using that Quran that's going to make it hard for you. But go ahead.
Then we shall deliver those that were God-fearing, and evildoers we shall leave there, hobbling on their knees.
So you catch it, the God-fearing and the evildoers will be in hell, but the God-fearing will come out, but the evildoers will remain hobbling there. So what kind of religion is this that causes me psychological trauma, where it guarantees I'm going to go to hell, but I don't know if I'm God-fearing that I'll be taken out? And you want me to abandon Jesus' promises for this?
Yeah, I've just never been, I've read this verse, but I didn't really think much of it. I was
now think about it.
Mainly getting my information from, people who were like, hey, this is the, this is the basics. That's how you pray, do wudu.
Yeah. Wudu, yeah. And by the way, did they tell you, and I want to come back to Muhammad and contrast with Jesus, because that's for me the deal breaker. The way Muhammad speaks in the Quran, the way Jesus does. But before I do that, did they tell you why you snort water in and out of your nose 3 times? Were you told?
No.
You sure they didn't tell you? Man, how tragic. He's going to get you the hadith that's in Bukhari. I'll give him the link. You know why you snort water in and out of your nose 3 times? Because Muhammad says Satan stays in the upper part of your nose overnight and you got to flush him out. Do you believe that?
No, I thought it had something to do with cleanliness.
No, it has to do with Satan. That's what Muhammad said in Bukhari. Do you want me to get you the link, Gabriel? Or you can go to Sunnah and just put Satan in the nostril.
Yeah, give me the link, please.
If you go to sunnah.com, you put Satan in the nostril, it'll come up.
All right.
It's in Bukhari Muslim, but I can do it, but that will be quick. So if he shows you the hadith that the real reason why you snort water in and out of your nose is because Muhammad thought Satan lodges and stays in your nose at night and you got to flush him out with water. Do you really believe that?
I mean, if it's the truth, I will. But I mean,
well, so we were talking about rationality and why you thought Islam was rational, but now something so irrational, nonsensical, you'll accept it blindly. Okay, that's up to you. Now, if you didn't find it, I'll get it for you. If you go to sunnah.com, put Satan, nostril will come up. But if not, let me get it for you because I want him to read it for himself.
Yeah, I mean, I think what might have kind of pushed me away from Christianity is I realized I was being intellectually dishonest with myself whenever I was I just accepted the Bible on blind faith.
Like you're doing with Islam right now, right?
I mean, I thought because they were telling me about how preserved the Quran is, and I was looking into it and the miracles and everything. And
here it is. So they lied to you about the Quran preservation too? My goodness. All right. But that's up to you. You want to talk about Quran preservation? We can, but it's not perfectly preserved contrary to what they told you. But here it is, brother. Here's the link. Sorry, here it goes. So did you know that the particular Arabic edition that you follow right now was only codified in 1924? The Arabic Qurans that you read is the 1924 Cairo edition. You cannot find any Quranic manuscripts prior to 1924 that are uniform and perfectly in agreement with the particular Arabic text that you read today. It was standardized by Al-Azhar, Cairo, Egypt, in 1924. Did they tell you that?
No.
Exactly.
I was told that because they all learned to recite it, that it stayed the same. because everyone learned how to recite it properly.
So did they tell you that the recitation, there are 14 qira'at, Arabic versions of the Uthmanic Quran, even today among Muslims, such as Hafs and Warsh, Duri, and they're not identical? Did they tell you that part, the qira'at?
Told that there's different variations and that was permissible for different dialects.
And no, well, they lied to you. It's not dialects, because the problem with the Quran is that it was a consonantal text. There were no vowel markings. And when Uthman burned the Qurans, he was burning Qurans written down by companions of Muhammad who all spoke the same dialect. So they lied to you again. And I'll give you that from Bukhari and Muslim and other sources. But let's go with that logic. If I had told you the Gospel of Luke was transmitted through 14 different Greek versions, all of them acceptable, you would laugh in my face and say, what a stupid person to believe such nonsense. But then you bought that nonsense when it came to the Quran. Amazing how much you fell for, and you're not waking up to see the deception and the brainwashing. But before we go to the qira'at, you see that hadith? You put it on the screen, Sahih Bukhari. So this is Sahih, Volume 4, Book 54, Hadith 516. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet said, if anyone of you rouses from sleep and performs the ablution, he should wash his nose by putting water in it and then blowing it out thrice, because Satan has stayed in the upper part of his nose all the night. So now let me ask you a question, because you're very rational. Well, why are you laughing, Brand? Let me make the point to the young man. Okay, now, if every Muslim has to snort water in and out of his nose because Satan stays there, are you telling me Satan is omnipresent? He's in everyone's noses, so he's in my nose and your nose and his nose?
I don't know if it means it literally or not.
Wait, you're telling me Muhammad, who is the master of eloquence, according to the Muslims, straight up tells you Satan's in your nose, and you have to now redefine and reinterpret what Muhammad told you?
I mean, I don't know.
No, this is actually literal. It's only those who are embarrassed by Muhammad's teaching have to then allegorize it. Because I think Muhammad could have been clear and say, snort water in and out of your nose because you want to now purify your nose of any harmful effects. See, that would be clear. Okay, bacteria. No, Satan has stayed there all night. This cannot be allegorized because harmful bacteria enters your nose throughout the day and the night, not only night. But here it's specific. He stays there at night, so you got to flush him out in the morning. You believe this? Tell me, I want to know. I want it on record that you believe this. Trenton, you gave up Jesus and his beauty for this.
I mean, I don't know. I'll just, I can't make decisions on a whim like that.
Well, but obviously you made a decision on the whim to ignore Jesus and follow Islam without spending years studying Islam in depth. So why did you do that on a whim?
Not really on a whim. It took me a couple of months. And
that's not a whim. An entire world religion that is sophisticated and takes years to understand. And in 3 months, you decide to abandon Jesus and a Bible you did not know for a religion you don't know. And that wasn't a whim? Come on, my brother.
My thinking was especially based on miracles. And have you heard about
miracles? Muhammad in the Quran says couldn't do a single miracle. This is why you got to go outside of the Quran to the hadiths written over 100 years later that made up miracles to make Muhammad look like a Superman. What miracle? The Quran says he had no miracles. They begged for miracles.
So yeah, my thought was, if you look in the early law of the Jews, you see that God has instructed them to wash their hands and, go do all this stuff that, circumcision on the 8th day when vitamin.
There's nowhere in the Quran or Hadith says get circumcised in 8th day. I'll give you $1 million and I'll become a Muslim if you show me that.
Yeah, I wasn't saying that it did, but I was saying, obviously God is there. How could they have known that?
God is there for the Jews and Christians, not for Muhammad, who was an ear who parroted what he heard Jews and Christians say. So again, I'm going to ask you, can you show me where in the Quran and Hadith say get circumcised in 8th day?
No.
Say it again?
Nope.
So why are you stealing my worldview, my Bible, in order to then attribute it to Muhammad to make it look like a miracle when this is something in the Bible, not in Islam?